Let's look more at this superannuation issue that we heard Peter Dutton talking about. We just discussed with Susan Lee. The government is giving a big indication that there might be a series of changes to superannuation tax concessions. It says Australia's highest earners are using the tax break or a tax break to hand down generational wealth rather than using it for retirement, its intended purpose. Joining me live now is Senior Associate in Economic Policy at the Grattan Institute, Joey Moloney. Joey, thanks so much. What do you think about these changes, first of all, and that idea that the tax concessions aren't fair?
Good morning, Laura. Thanks for having me. It's hard to say what changes might be coming, because I know that the Treasurer was on radio this morning saying that there's no plans for the May budget, that his focus is on nailing down an objective for superannuation in the first instance, which could then guide future policy changes. But I do broadly agree that super tax breaks do need an examination. In particular, if you look at the proposed objective, and in particular the wording in an equitable and sustainable way, right now the way super tax breaks are structured are neither equitable nor sustainable. The vast bulk of them go to people who don't need them to have an adequate retirement, who won't qualify for an age pension. Yeah. And essentially what that means is our system really is transforming into a bit of a taxpayer subsidised bequest vehicle.
Sure, but if you believe in a progressive tax system, it kind of needs to be a progressive in super as well, doesn't it? We have to go back to the first principle, but this is not government money. This is the money of workers, and they've worked their whole lives, and then in retirement. I mean, do you get to the point where you're penalising them because they've done well and they're going to have a comfortable retirement?
Oh, look, I'd hate to use the language of penalising. I suppose, taxation is a necessary feature of our public policy in order to raise the revenue that government needs to provide the goods and services that people expect. And the Australian community seems to agree that they like that done in a progressive way. With superannuation taxation in particular, you have to couch it in the objectives of the retirement income system, that the purpose of super, as outlined in this proposed objective, is about delivering retirement income in an equitable and sustainable way. And so we should think about the way we tax superannuation and think about whether it's consistent with that objective.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so it's a compulsory superannuation system. We need to remember that. We don't have a choice. We have to do that. At the same time, Jim Chalmers has also talked about values-based capitalism, urging this $3 trillion industry to not just invest for returns, but invest for social good. In a compulsory system, to demand that there's a social aspect to it, does that create problems? Because essentially, in a compulsory system, returns have to be and should be the biggest priority, shouldn't it?
I agree. The first, second and third priority of every super fund should be to maximise the net returns that they're delivering to their members. And Grattan's done a lot of work on how super fees are too high and how we can get them down and how we can get rid of underperforming super funds. The problem, I suppose, with trying to use superannuation capital to fund socially valuable causes is, if it doesn't compromise net returns, if you can do both, maximise net returns and achieve social good, then you would expect that super funds would be doing that already, and there's no policy intervention necessary.
Yeah, really good point, Joey. Longer conversation required. We'll do that at another time because we are out of time, but thanks so much.